Hello and welcome to Dongamat channel. Did you enjoy that? I just had an idea. Regarding this spoon. And let's say I wanted to do some edge retention testing on this knife here. Which I suppose I am. But what I realized is when I use a knife, I don't cut that much cardboard. And if I do, I generally have kind of specific cardboard cutting knives. I'm not necessarily after, that's not the first thing that I demand from my everyday user knife, is that it's an optimal cardboard cutter, right? It's more about things like this. I would say that my two number one activities in terms of time consumption in a day with blades are either cutting wood or possibly cutting my cuticle material, which is an exceptionally dense, stubborn, and what's the word? What would be the word? Recalcitrant material. Exceptionally hard on an edge, surprisingly so. But back to the wood carving thing, right? There's no real way, it seems to me, or it has seemed to me, that you can gauge edge retention scientifically when it comes to wood carving. Because you can count feet of cardboard that you cut, and you can always use the same cardboard. But every single cut that I perform right now, like, let me see. Well, we'll be looking to thin out that area there a bit. So if I make this cut here, that's putting a certain quality of stress onto the blade, right? And it took me a certain amount of time to do it, but there's always going to be a pause from cut to cut, right? So I can't just like time myself whittling. That's not going to be very accurate. I suppose it could be if I attempted to just keep up a steady cadence on as similar a material as possible and then count the hours or whatever. I guess that would be, but that's not what I was thinking right now. I'm still spitballing as we speak, but what had occurred to me was I just thought, why don't I just go over this whole spoon right now with this knife, just to enjoy myself, test the knife, and refine the spoon. So, I've done that part, right? I can finish this off a little bit. And I need to do this part here. Okay, we're over 3 minutes now because I didn't want this to be a short video. Sometimes I think it's worth, making a long format. Gets people in a different frame of mind. So if I go over this whole spoon like this, as you can see, I'm really taking off very little material. But as I point out, every cut is a little different because the grain is doing something different. However, if I just cut this cut here, right? And then let's say I were to cut the same cut again over the same cut, that is a virtually identical stress, right? Wherein I reason, let's say I go do this whole thing end to end, and then I test. And then I do the whole thing again, and then I test. See where I'm heading? Running out of memory on the phone now. Bye.